You know what? I got a project I started. You know, it's called Return of the Chicken Hawk. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna knock that one down and then see how I feel about it. You know, after that, if I'm gonna keep going or what I'm gonna do though. You know, but I'm just having fun, B.
Yeah, I think
Really.
that's what you got to do these days. You know what I mean? To stay around and like be really in it. You know, you gotta have fun at it. You know, yeah, it's paper. We're gonna get that paper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it's still gotta be fun too. Because when it gets like a job, you know, it's a
I'm
wrap.
good. And when it
It's
get
a
like
wrap.
that, yeah. If
it's
it ain't fun, why?
Yeah, because there's too many politics involved for, you know, for it to get to be a drag to do the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Word up, man. Shit. West Coast, man. You one of the motherfuckers that you know that the Westside Connection group held the West Coast up in such a way in that time period, man, that it was huge. That was like the first you guys were actually probably the first like super group. Like, you know, like how they got, you know, like Slaughterhouse now, they're considered like a super group because you got Joe Button and you got Joel Ortiz and you got Royce and you got Crooked, you know what I'm saying? But you guys were the actual first motherfuckers to do that shit, you know what I mean? And that was big. Everybody throws up that West Side now because of the shit that you guys did with that.
2 million records, independent. Double platinum, independent.
Double
Crazy.
platinum. How you know, how did that feel when like that shit when that shit was at its peak and you like were feeling all that fucking love? How'd that shit feel?
Unbelievable. It was bigger than I could ever imagine. Like I'm talking about, it was crazy.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. You know, we had our shit right then.
Yeah,
you know, and it's well documented. We ain't never gonna get into that shit because you know we fucking way cool and shit. But I saw it from the other end, and even though we had that weird shit going on back then, I was like, damn. These motherfuckers are doing it.
Yeah, they on.
Yeah,
it was on.
Yeah,
was on.
you know, because it was like the West Coast hadn't like, you know, there was always like, you know, a single artist here, a single artist there holding down the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It really wasn't known for groups to hold down the West Coast other than NWA.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really like, because we
was
weren't
the
really
blueprint.
considered West Coast. Cypress Hill wasn't really considered West Coast, even though we
To
were
us,
from this.
y'all was.
Yeah, to us, but
yeah.
to the world,
Yeah.
to the world, nobody really knew. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
we was East Coast, West Coast,
Yeah.
but y'all represented the West Coast in such a way. I mean, motherfuckers started throwing up W for West Side everywhere, kind of like in the, you know, in the Colors movie. You know, everybody wanted to be a banger after they saw that movie.
Yeah.
When they seen y'all, you know, you can go around the world and everybody throw up that West Side, and motherfuckers would gladly throw it up.
Anywhere you touch down at.
Anywhere you touch
Yeah.
down. And that was y'all.
Yeah.
That was the impact
did
y'all
that.
had, man. That shit is, you know, that shit is huge.
Yeah, that was one of them ones. We hit one out the park with that.
But yeah, you did, man. I mean, y'all did a number of fucking bangers right there, man. You know, I know that someday, you know, fans would hope that y'all get together and knock one out. But until then, y'all, you know, just keep pushing the lanes, you know.
Yeah, you know, everybody, you know, grown and everybody like do their own thing. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, shit. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah. Last one was platinum. You know, it is what it is.
Oh man, you know, it would be like to me, I think fans would be, especially here on the West Coast, it would be like, you know, when I would equate it to when Rage Against the Machine stopped doing shit together for a while. They didn't do shit for a long time, and motherfuckers was just amped. Like, man, I wish they would do some shit. And then they did the one show. It was like one of the first two shows that they did together after not being together for a long time. They did, and one of them was Rock the Bells. Man, it was such a crazy feeling when they got together on stage and they did those songs. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think the fans would go ape shit here if y'all ever did that.
Yeah, I believe they would. You know what I mean? But you know how that shit go.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of different personalities. You know how the shit is.
Yeah,
so.
when it's a group format, man, that's the shit that sometimes you got to deal with. You know, when personalities maybe don't mix anymore or whatever. You know, hey, it happens in every group structure. Everybody,
yeah.
any group ever in the history of hip hop has gone through some shit.
For sure.
You feel like being, to yourself as an artist, more independent shit. You know that like it's less pressure. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you the only person you got to worry about, there's always less pressure and shit. You know, with a group, everybody got to show up.
Right.
Everybody got to get along. You know, everybody got to, but really, any of it could be done. It's business. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I mean, by yourself, it's less to worry about for sure.
You know, cause some artists they were, that come from groups, they're like, well, fuck. I never realized how hard it was to do a solo record because, I'm used to so-and-so doing a verse or so-and-so doing a chorus and then I do a verse or, it's not like all on one person's back to write a whole song.
But, like with Westside Connection, what made it good is that we was all solo artists first.
Coming
in.
Yeah,
we was solo. I was used to writing the whole song and all that. So when I got with Westside Connection, it's like, man, we was doing records in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Cause like, what all you gotta have is a verse.
And the chemistry.
Man, the chemistry was crazy.
But you was used to just knocking solo shit down in the first.
So it made it easier actually.
Yeah. Do you ever miss the group format? Like you ever thought of making another group outside of Westside Connection?
Yeah, I thought about it a couple of times. Especially with some of the guys like that I really vibe with, or I'm a real fan of theirs or whatever. You know what I mean? So I thought about it a couple of times. Yeah. Be Real done crossed my mind once or twice. You know what I mean?
We'll throw it down.
Yeah. You know how it go. I mean, but a group is just easy money. It's easy.
Yeah.
If everybody on the same page.
If everybody's on the same page.
That's the key. That's for real. If everybody on the same page, it's butter. It's easy.
That's right. Cheers to that. Any group.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's got to be the chemistry, and everybody's got to be on the same page. Yeah. And well, I think if you had come back with any group, motherfuckers is gonna be interested in that for sure.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, shit, man. When you make a mark with one group, I mean, they gotta respect you enough to give you a listen or a look.
Exactly.
You dig? So
because all y'all were spitting.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anyone was spitting less than the other. Everybody was on a pretty
friendly
much
competition.
Yeah, it was equal ground. I think y'all made each other better.
Yeah.
That's what I got as a rapper. Listening to the way y'all did it. It was like y'all lifted each other, you know what I'm saying? That's what it sounded like to me. And that's when a group is at the peak of like doing their creative shit, like because everybody wants to be better. Nobody wants to be the weak link in the structure of the song, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody got to hold their weight.
Everybody got to hold their weight. Word up, man. It's been good having you in the box, man.
For sure.
Where could they get at you?
The official Mack 10 Twitter.
What's the next concert you throwing?
Man, I got another West Coast Fest gonna happen in Tucson, Arizona, September 27th.
Shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So the last one I sold it out last year, but I got a lot of shows coming.
Where could they get the calendar for your shows?
On my Twitter.
On your Twitter?
Yeah.
Word up. Make sure you get at that Twitter and shit.
Official Mack 10.
See where official Mack 10 is throwing some shows at.
Yeah,
some shows you
might be any genre. Your mama might want to come.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be Keith Sweat to 2 Chainz.
Keith Sweat to 2 Chainz. There would be a lot of girls at those concerts.
Yeah.
So you guys go buy tickets,
anybody,
get down, you know what I'm saying?
Believe that.
Word up, man. It's been good having you in this piece, man.
Right on, man.
Word up, man.
Yeah.
Mack 10. Hey, make sure you subscribe Make sure you leave comments and get down with Be Real TV. Get down with Mack 10 official. You know what I'm saying?
Believe that.